A lot of towns don't want to talk about it because they're so embarrassed by it. In Springfield, they're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets of the people.
So when we think about what's at stake in this election, whoa, it's packed with some stuff.
It's packed with some fundamental stuff. I say rather
Are you gonna narrate?
Are you the narrator, Jake?
Yeah.
Go. Welcome to Whispers in American Fork, where shadows dance and secrets lurk. Tonight, join Phil, Jake, Jeff, and Amber as they unravel a chilling mystery in a quiet Utah town.
Are we really doing all the Foley?
As you
Oh, it's my line, sorry. Guys, did you hear about that old house on the edge of town? They say it's haunted.
Haunted? Come on, Amber. It's just an old, empty house.
I don't know, Phil. I heard it's... I heard...
Come on, Jake, put it together.
I don't know, Phil. I heard it's where the family vanished 20 years ago.
It's not just a rumor. My dad used to talk about it. People will claim that there's voices coming from there.
Let's check it out. What's the worst that could happen?
You're all insane. I'm not going in there.
Oh, come on. Just a little adventure. It'll be fun.
Tell them that we're outside the old house, Jake. Scene
As
2.
the friends approach the dilapidated structure, the air grows thick and with unease.
Look at this place. It's even creepier up close.
It's just an old house. You scared, Phil?
I would breathe heavy, probably. I'm not scared, just cautious.
Okay. Jake, we're inside the old house.
Yeah, it's you, Jeff.
Jake.
Oh, I was waiting to set the scene. Okay. Did you hear that?
What was that?
It's probably just the wind.
No, it sounded like a voice.
You're the narrator, Jake.
As they venture deeper, the air becomes charged with an unnameable dread.
What was that?
The next day, the friends tried to shake off their old, terrifying experience.
We should have gone there. We shouldn't have gone there. I keep hearing whispers.
Maybe it was just the ghosts wanting to say hi?
It felt different, like we disturbed something.
We have to go back. We need to know what's happening there.
Back in the old house at night. Under the cover of night, they return, armed with flashlights and a growing sense of dread.
We can do this. Together.
Right. Together.
Did you hear that again?
We need to leave now.
No!
No!
Come back!
A climactic encounter moments later. As the whispers intensify, the friends find themselves surrounded by a chilling presence.
Who are you?
You should have not come here!
What do you want from us?
Run!
Back in Amber's living room at dawn, they escaped, breathless and haunted. The house remains, holding on to its secrets.
What was that?
We can't go back. Not ever.
We disturbed something we shouldn't have.
And it's not done with us yet. Ominous tones slowly fading. We can edit that one out.
the whole story?
It's your narrator.
Jake, you're the narrator.
Thank you for turning. Okay.
It doesn't say I'm supposed to be whispering, so.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you for tuning in to Whispers in American Fork. Remember, some mysteries are better left unsolved. Until next time, stay safe and keep the lights on.
Welcome to the American Fork podcast, spooky Halloween episode. Jeff,
What?
all you did was prove that ChatGPT
Okay.
is horrible
That was-
at writing scary stories.
That was a totally crap story. and listener, none of us read that script at all. I just asked ChatGPT. In fact, I'm going to tell you exactly what I said. I said, write a radio script for a horror story that takes place in American Fork and stars Phil, Jake, Jeff, and Amber. And that's the bull crap it came up with.
Yeah, it'll be good though. We'll put all kinds of sound effects in there to make you think it was a real thing.
Yeah.
But it wasn't.
Oh. AI does not know scary.
It needed a few more prompts.
But as we established in last episode, AI is not actually artificial intelligence. It's
I don't think so.
You know what I should have
Jeff
put?
thinks it is.
You know
but-
what I should have put in the command? I should have put, and make sure it doesn't suck.
Yeah, you should have definitely put that.
Oh, that's not an option.
Anyway, American Forked is a podcast by lifetime friends who, despite growing up to have different beliefs, are still friends. You can do it, America. If we can. Except for Mike, who we now know has certainly lied about his back problems for the last 20 years.
Yep.
Because he's like doing a musical where he vaults women above his head with one hand.
Mike.
Holds
Okay.
the stages together.
Yeah,
The props together.
like Samson holding the pillars of something, right?
Atlas holding the weight of the world.
Yeah.
Listen, it's not that he's been lying to us, okay? Come on, don't be mean to Mike like that.
Oh.
We just found a cure, which is we have to keep a cute girl within 10 feet of him at all times.
Young women.
or put him on stage,
Yeah.
where he can sing.
And he leeches off of their youth and envelops his back to be the strongest, manly, most erect thing ever.
Oh
Hey,
my
that's
gosh.
a term. I can say it.
Like
Mike, I'm sorry.
like a steel tower,
Like
Yeah.
you want your back to be erect,
withstanding
guys. Come on.
withstanding the pummeling winds of a.
Or physical
Eastern-
therapy might be working.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, that's true.
Is he doing? maybe
I don't
he's
know.
doing
I
that.
don't know.
We're making
Let-
it all up.
Yeah.
Let's be nice to Mike, is
That's
what
why I'm
Amber's
saying
trying to say.
yes.
Yeah.
Sorry, Mike.
Okay. Well, on personal news, our buddy Devin just had a baby,
Oh,
Congrats,
congratulations.
and the name is going to be
Phil.
Phil Shire the second.
Jefferton Jake Mob.
Seth Jacob Lethbridge.
Seth Jacob. Yeah.
That's exciting.
Yeah,
That
it is
seems
exciting.
kind of, I don't know.
Congrats,
A lot.
Devin.
Yes, congrats.
Like 4 weeks ago by the time you hear this.
Is that the American Fork News?
Yeah. No, it's not. I got actually a American Fork thing.
Ooh.
Per tradition, we because we all grew up in American Fork, Utah, we like to start our news with what's going on there. And what's going on is the election is coming up, and there is a proposition on there to split the Alpine School District and create a new district. Proposition 11 asks voters in those communities to answer a yes or no question. Shall a new school district be created from Alpine School District that would include the boundaries of the cities of Lehigh, American Fork, Highland Alpine, Cedar Hills, the portion of Draper located within Utah County, and certain portions of unincorporated Utah County? I didn't realize that Draper stretches over the mountain. Why would they do that?
I don't know. They're really, really stretchy.
Why wouldn't they say the top of the
It's kind of a stretch.
the top of the mountain is the boundary, and that's Alpine or whatever?
Yeah, tell us, Jeff
That's
Draper.
kind of dumb.
Yeah.
Well, the
don't you
I
last,
feel
know?
like you have
The last-
special insight.
Yeah.
the last name of our friend Stretch Armstrong. Armstrong's his first name. It's Stretch Armstrong Draper.
Because it stretches over the mountain.
I don't know. That is really dumb, though. Why a county line would end and a city line would continue?
Because I always
thought that.
I always
too.
thought of the point of the mountain as like the sand curtain. Like once you pass the point of the mountain, you're all of a sudden in crime-ridden Salt Lake. or when you're going south, you're all of a sudden in Bad Driver
Celestial
Mormon
Kingdom.
Celestial Kingdom.
Oh yeah, that
Yeah.
too.
Wait, the sand curtain? Why
Because
sand?
it's the sand.
It's a
the
sand
mountain is
bar.
all
Sandy.
It's all sand.
Maybe it's because of
No,
sand.
the point of the mountain is all sand.
Yeah.
It's like the whole thing.
Oh,
That's why buildings slide off
It
them.
isn't though, because I recently hiked up there, so it's sand down where they're digging, but up on the top where you like see the point of the mountain is just regular mountain.
Oh, well, the sand is right there at the point.
And there's a huge owl up there that like flies around at night, like right over your head.
That's cool.
Yeah,
The whole thing?
yeah.
Or what?
Just that spot, like the tip.
Yeah, just never mind.
Yeah.
Just the end of the mountain.
Yeah,
Yeah, just at the top.
just the end spot.
I had. That's so weird. You bring up owls. Just last week, there was a massive owl. Like no exaggeration. I have my hands spread apart. What is that? 2 feet?
No, that's about.
Yeah, it was big like
That's
that.
about how big this owl was.
That's
Swooped
26
right
inches.
by my. Shut up, Jake. Swooped right by me and my neighbor's house and landed on our other neighbor's house.
Yeah.
and was
That
sitting
is
up
so
there.
cool.
I have
I've-
pictures of it. You want to see?
Yes, please.
Okay.
I've never seen an owl like in real life, like in the wild. In the wild, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, I hadn't
seen
either
it.
before more recently.
That's so cool.
Baby owls are the cutest things on the planet.
Oh yeah.
And there's the owl.
Hold on.
It's huge.
Yeah.
That's
He
on your
ate
neighbors.
A lot of rats.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because you know, on some buildings they'll put fake ones up to
Oh, it looks like-
deter.
it looks like a
oh,
fake
you can
one.
see it
It's
moving.
moving.
That is huge.
We saw
like a
it. We
cat.
saw it fly up there.
It does look like a cat.
Like a big cat. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
it's great. It's
awesome.
great.
It
because
really
I'm
looks like a
zoomed
cat.
Way in, but it's not a cat for sure.
Did
Okay.
anybody go hoo hoo?
Well,
to try
to
and
try to
Did
communicate
anyone
with
try
it.
and throw rocks at it?
No, but if we had audio on this, you'd hear my neighbor going, "It's right there! It's right there!" It's so funny. But yeah, it's in fact, my wife got a video of it flying off the roof and swooping down. I didn't see that video yet, but
That is
It's
so
huge,
cool.
huh?
That's really big.
yeah, that's what she said.
And anyways, you guys
She did
said
say that. She was right there. You would
She was-
hear if the audio
It's
was on.
right there. It's so big. I love this huge owl segue.
yeah, speaking of thunder and lightning, by the way, I went camping over the weekend down by St. George, and Thursday night was like the craziest thunder lightning storm. Kept us up all night.
Oh,
And
man.
then Friday night was 65-mile-an-hour wind gusts. It was like we have like a spring bar tent, but it was like like
Were you guys
shaking
all just
night.
like hunkered together? Like,
Yeah, we were just lying awake watching our tent, thinking like at any second it's gonna rip in half
my
and
gosh.
blow away. Like
were your kids freaked out, or how'd they handle
they
it?
slept through most of it. It's just
Really?
my wife and I were
Wow.
awake all night.
Worried about the kids.
Yeah, not really. I just like it's just like unnerving that the thing you're sleeping in is like
Gonna blow
shaking so
away.
violently. Yeah,
I would say when I'm camping, wind is the worst.
Yeah.
I hate wind.
Yeah, agreed.
and I tied it. Luckily, we camped in a spot where the ground was really hard, so the stakes were all in good, and I tied like extra guy lines or whatever to make it stable, so it didn't blow away.
They
but,
call them they lines now.
but the first night, it actually broke. They lines.
They them lines.
Can't say guy lines.
G lines.
The first night, it broke one of the poles, and we had extra poles, which is wild because those poles on spring bars are like
Yeah.
pretty thick. But
But you didn't die?
yeah, you guys said literally nothing about
Okay,
splitting
prop,
this school
Prop 11.
district. Yeah,
Oh,
Okay.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Well, we had to make
Well-
it spooky.
There's nothing to say.
No, I have
Nobody
something
cares.
to say.
Let's leave it the way it is.
I have something to say.
Okay.
A lot of people want to leave it the way it is.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Well, it's the biggest district, and they are saying that by splitting it up, it's going to cost more. But then other people that are in favor of it are saying that it'll be more cost efficient. So I think it's kind of hard to tell unless you are like in like administration or actually in the inner workings of it to kind of know.
I was actually surprised because when I was first reading it, I'm like, oh, they're going to cut American Fork out of there. I know it. All the rich towns are getting together. But I was surprised that American Fork was included
they're
in
more
that list.
cutting it off like Saratoga Springs, Eagle Mountain, like
Linden, Pleasant Grove.
that area. Yeah, off
Yeah.
that. Because don't they want to split it 3 ways?
Oh, I didn't know that.
Or
Because
is it
this
just
this
2?
proposition
in
just
2.
Is it just 2?
Well, as far as I knew, this proposition specifically is just saying forming a new school district from Lehigh, American Fork, Highland, Alpine, Cedar Hills, and Draper within Utah County and certain portions of unincorporated Utah County. I don't know
What
where
is
that
that?
would be.
Yeah.
I think that's
People
like,
living on the lake.
like Southern
houseboats.
Lehigh is technically county address.
Oh, really?
Oh.
Yeah, like south of some parts of south of Pioneer Crossing. The addresses are county addresses and not technically
Utah
Lehigh.
County.
Yeah,
That'd be a cool
I assume
place.
that's where they're talking about.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I feel like it makes sense to split it up. Like it's just so big and
Yeah.
the areas are getting more populated and you'd think that they would need to like address specific issues.
Yeah,
reason
it's a
I'm so-
lot of people to be in one school district.
The reason
Yeah.
I'm so quiet about it is what would change? So what if it's small? So what if it's big? Like, is it by being big that people are being left out with their needs and
That's
wants?
what they were saying, that like it's so big that it's hard for the administration to like see and fulfill all the needs of
But what kind of
all
needs?
the different. I don't know.
Needs of the 1%, you know?
Yeah, I don't know either.
Yeah,
Like,
that's what I'm saying in regards to like as far as us making a decision on something that you don't really know the inner workings on. So it's kind of hard.
It probably would have to cost more because there's got to be like a boss of.
True, you'd have to set up a new administration for each one. Like I feel like it would be a lot of work.
Yeah, my wife, who has been working in Alpine School District's administration for the last several years, is
so-
very much against it.
She is.
Yeah.
Why?
I guess it'll be just a logistical nightmare trying to get it all taken care of.
Yeah. See, we need her opinion
Plus
on
very
it. Like,
expensive.
Yeah, it makes sense. Like if you have 3 CEOs of school districts or whatever they are making $16 million a piece, like that's expensive.
Yeah.
Is that how much CEOs make?
I don't know.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's
especially
spot
at
on.
school districts, yes.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, presumably.
It's a good word.
Presumably.
Nope.
Presumably.
Presumably, just
Isn't there a B
Biden
in there?
it. Just Joe Biden it.
Yeah.
Presumably.
You know the thing.
You know the thing. Come on.
Come on, man.
It's a B. There is a B in there, presumably.
Presumably.
Nope.
It's
Go
a B?
on.
It is a B.
Presumably. B-L-Y.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Presumably.
presumably.
Well, I
Okay.
don't even remember what I say now.
I think you did D.
I mean, I don't remember what I was saying presumably for. There it goes, finally.
Oh.
You're off the hook, Jeff.
Thanks.
Presumably,
We're doing a podcast.
a lot of those people from Alpine School District would form the new district, is my theory.
Oh.
Yeah, so there's promotion opportunities, I'd say, probably for
Yeah.
admin people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Maybe like they already have people that are kind of handling those areas anyway.
Like, let's say you're assistant vice.
To the regional manager.
Calm down.
Okay.
Assistant vice middle janitor, but then you can actually move up to assistant janitor
Yeah.
from that, you know?
Maybe.
That clears it all up.
I would like to go I would like to go into a school district like building where they're working
Yeah.
and see what's actually even going on.
You
in
need
there.
to go into
Yes.
just school when you actually were supposed to
it's
attend it.
It's an American Fork.
I know it's over by the
rec center.
Rec center, yeah.
So the
Like what are they doing over there?
Nothing.
Twiddling their thumbs.
Like my wife is a teacher and I'm like, what does a principal even do? Like she says that they're not even there half the time.
Because
Really?
they're gone working so hard.
A principal is required to go to every sporting event.
Oh,
that sounds like a tough job. No, actually,
Okay,
I know that.
actually,
wait,
principals.
that's a real thing in the district, or I don't remember seeing.
At least in Alpine School District.
When they
the
swear him
principal's
in,
supposed
that's
to go
what
to
they're
every-
doing. They're like, and I will come to
I
every
will be at
sporting
every
event.
soccer game and football game.
well, that's not possible though. They can't.
yeah.
Oh, the
Jake.
principal.
the principal.
Yeah, but they got to have multiple games going at once.
Yeah.
Maybe they just have to appear at each one.
They have to be at a sporting event. Every night there's a sporting event.
What?
That sounds.
But
That's
they're not required
that
to be
was-
in the school every day.
that was one
but
of
the sporting
the-
events.
One of the downfalls of because Stacy has considered
Being a principal,
principal.
she would be amazing.
and she's like, I would be gone every night
Oh, really?
because I have to be at every sporting event.
Oh,
That's
and
kinda
that's not just
wild.
like a thing she would want to do. It's like
No, she
it's
would,
a requirement.
She would have to. Yeah.
Wow. Interesting.
crazy.
Yeah, I mean, that kind of says to me that it kind of reinforces what I already thought is that
Yeah.
they don't really have a job to do.
I mean, for
Yeah.
$4 million a year, though, I would just get body doubles.
I was thinking, like, just get your doppelganger.
Like
and
like P.
4
Diddy,
million.
like P. Diddy has.
Like
Yeah.
D Pity.
Oh,
Isn't
man.
is that what principals get paid? $4 million a year.
Yeah.
I mean, if Saddam Hussein can have
I don't
doubles,
know
I
what they get
can.
paid.
Yeah, I doubt that. I
$4
doubt
million
it.
dollars.
That'd be pretty cool. Anyway, if you were worried about American Fork being cut out of this new rich school district, worry no more.
They would be part of it.
They
But
will
wouldn't-
be the poorest
they wouldn't be in
town in
Pleasant
that
Grove.
district.
We got to include somebody poor.
Yeah.
We'll bring an American Fork.
No, there's a lot of wealth in American Fork. That's why I like American Fork. It's like you can have really wealthy people that just live in normal neighborhoods with
And-
everyone else.
And then
Yeah.
you cross
Yeah.
the tracks, and there's all the poor people.
Yeah, and all the poor people are across the railroad, which is how it is in every town for some reason.
Yeah.
It's like, let's just go over there. You know what it probably is it's always, real estate is probably always worse near the railroad because it's so noisy.
Yeah.
So it's like it's already starting anyway to
Yeah.
be poorer, and then you go over there. But nowadays, like we've looked over there. I mean, the poor houses,
Yeah.
quote
it's not
unquote,
really
are
poor
like
anymore.
750,000.
Dude, if
so-
you were deaf, like your real estate game is awesome.
Yeah.
Like you could have.
You live right by the tracks.
Oh yeah, right next to him. You'd be like, I got this house, $30,000. No one wanted to buy it. It was on the market for 5 years.
But how
waiting
would
for
you
me.
say that if you're
You'd write it down.
okay?
Braille.
yeah, deaf people still feel vibration though, so it'd probably be just the same.
But people actually buy chairs that vibrate. Like
Oh,
that's,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah, I get that.
So you're saving money again.
You don't have to buy a vibrating chair.
Yeah.
I get it.
You just put your chair against the wall that shakes the most.
I want to interview someone that lives right next to the tracks and has cats. That would be a joke. Like those. Anyway,
On to Utah news.
Thanks for saving me.
Finally. Utah's interest in information on judges, which are on the ballots this election, has surged 58%.
the interest.
Wow.
People that are actually
researching them?
Googling and researching judges,
Yeah.
which is good, I think. Because
Yeah.
I hadn't realized this, but the governor chooses the judge, but every 6 years they have to be like confirmed in an
Yeah.
election.
Mm-hmm.
Like you have to uphold them or delete them, apparently.
Yeah.
So, and people are really interested. What that says to me is people are not happy with a lot of rulings that are going on.
Probably.
No, I think probably people are just researching more local stuff.
Yeah, maybe.
It doesn't mean they're happy or unhappy. I think that's just like, I think that there's been a narrative of like, you know what? I do not like the national elections.
Yeah.
Like I'm going to just decide on that. And then I'm going to focus on the more local stuff.
Yeah. Well, like me, my personal like legal issues are like family issues, fighting over a farm, which I've talked about before. And my gripes with the judges involved in that are you have a family member that's really mad and files a ridiculous lawsuit that has no merit. And what happens is that takes like 2.5 years to play out. And then a judge finally says, that's ridiculous, and you have to pay all the attorney's fees. So it's like, well, we could see it was ridiculous 2 years ago. You should have just dismissed this case.
Yeah.
But instead, it's like, let's make sure all these lawyers make money and everything. Like, so there's my gripe.
Yeah.
So I could, if I lived in Tooele County, for example, I would not vote for any judges that are there. I'd kick them all out.
You know, I probably shouldn't admit to like how I vote, but like one time I was on this kick of like, I don't think any government or hired official should be in for an extended period of time. And if judges are a voted in official, not hired, what's the word I'm looking for? Elected.
Yeah.
They're an elected official. My attitude was like, we need to cycle through these guys.
Yeah.
Just like anybody else.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense. There are plenty of attorneys.
There are other totally qualified people who
A-holes.
It
that can
almost
screw things up.
it almost should be like mandatory. Like not mandatory, but like attorneys should
Term
almost
limit.
be
term
like
limits.
yeah, well they should be chosen, I guess, cuz you don't want like bad attorneys being judges, but there's got to be enough attorneys that you can cycle through a lot of them. And that's got to be good on a resume anyway, or you go back to your own practice or whatever. I don't know.
Last time I voted against keeping all of them except for one, because he lives 2 doors away from me.
Oh, really?
I figured
You
like,
like
You didn't
that
want him
guy?
to come
He's
egg your
nice.
house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
he doesn't really. I mean, I don't really know him that well.
Yeah.
I just know he's a judge. He
Yeah.
bought a candy bar for my daughter for a fundraiser. So that
Okay,
was
then
cool.
yeah, you definitely got to
There
keep
you
him
go.
in.
Yeah,
There
there's
you
one more
go.
term.
He's
Vote
serving
for
the
him again.
community.
That's
yeah.
cute.
But I do have a serious question, Phil.
Okay.
Would you rather have the judge in place that's dealing with your family's farm now, or Saul Goodman being a judge for that?
Saul Goodman. Well, I think Saul Goodman would have done. That's the thing. Like, if Saul Goodman were the judge, I could see it playing out exactly the way it has.
Oh,
It seems corrupt. Like it's like and I'd have to explain it all. But imagine that me and you, like you said.
I love you.
Yeah, you love me. Or you're like
you don't have to explain
you're
it.
like you bought me lunch,
You don't
and I was like,
have to
I'll buy you
explain
lunch next time,
That's it.
and I didn't. And so you sued me, and instead of saying, "Oh, I bought him lunch and then he didn't buy it the next time," you said, "I bought him lunch and then he like swore at me," or something totally irrelevant.
Right.
And so instead of the judge being like, "This is stupid," it's delete.
Control.
Delete.
It just like he puts it on the schedule
Yeah.
for 8 months to have a preliminary hearing,
Right.
and then in another 10 months there's a deposition, and after they do all that stuff, it doesn't even go to trial. The judge is like, "This is ridiculous," it's dismissed.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, well, we just spent $50,000.
That's ridiculous.
Or you did, because the judge said your claim was so ridiculous you had to pay it. But
Yeah.
it was like,
Definitely ridiculous.
why couldn't we just read it
Yeah.
2 years ago?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Don't cry, Phil.
You don't
It's
know.
all right.
Okay.
No, I know it's frustrating.
No, yeah. It's not really for me. It has nothing to do with me, but I have been surprised at how not and people that go through divorces too, like messy divorces, like our justice system seems to encourage that rather than
Well, why wouldn't you? It's just like hospitals. Like,
Yeah.
I went to a dialysis center to give them a bid to do some work on their building,
yeah.
and
It
I was
probably
like,
was not enough. The bid was too low.
I don't even care about any of that. But what I was walking in and I looked at the patients that were receiving dialysis probably for the second time that week, or you know what I mean? I was like, these are the best customers for insurance companies. Like,
Why?
you know, the amount of money they're making off that person.
Insurance companies?
yeah.
Yeah, insurance.
Insurance,
is
hospitals,
set up to profit
the whole
when
medical
Yeah.
system.
the user pays.
Oh, yeah.
The medical system, those guys are making a fortune for certain people. Now,
Well, that's why they don't tell you ever, like, eat better.
I know, because there's no money in working out with a gym membership and eating vegetables.
Right. Like, that would be the number one, like, let's be, not to be like RFK or whatever, but
but here
I'd
you
love
go.
to be
See,
like
RFD.
them. Yeah.
If to make America overall a lot healthier, that would be the number one thing by far.
Yeah.
It's not some new vaccine or some new pill they're going to come out with.
I'll bet you one dialysis session at that facility could feed somebody with organic vegetables for a whole family for an entire
pay
year.
for a gym
And
membership for
what's
2 years.
dialysis?
It's where they take your blood in, clean it, like
like
your kidneys are supposed to do, and
It's
then
like they filter your blood
Yeah.
out.
yeah, because your kidneys aren't working.
yeah,
Because of your diet is bad.
yeah,
you're
usually
not
or
exercising.
alcohol or
or alcohol.
But my point of bringing this up is like when someone's in very poor shape and needs constant care and whatever, they are the best type of customer.
Yeah.
Because it's this prolonged process that takes forever. It's the same thing with the medical stuff. If they were speedy about it, who's going to make any money? Or medical? I meant legal. The legal judicial department of whatever
Affairs.
I'm trying to say. You know what I mean? Like if they were quick about deciding on your family's farm, who's going to make any money? $600, $200.
Exactly.
But if they prolong it for months and months and months, now they can make thousands and thousands of dollars. So,
yeah, I think it's a racket.
Yeah, insurance is if you want a profitable business, start an insurance company.
Yeah.
And like they've made it to where pharmacies are, if you ask for, they're obligated to tell you the cost with insurance.
Yeah.
And you have to specifically ask what's the cost without insurance. And if you pay for most medicines, you could pay for over the counter without insurance, and it's cheaper for you.
Then a copay.
And the pharmacy makes more money.
Yep.
As soon as they give you the insurance price, they charge you more. The insurance money makes more, and you pay more.
Yeah. Is this the medical hour? Because this is scary. This is super scary.
Although one thing that's almost always the way it's worked for me, but my wife started teaching recently, and so we were like, let's look at the dental insurance because it was pretty cheap.
Dental's
and
different.
it pays almost nothing. But I was surprised that when I started pricing it out, they were like, the out-of-pocket cost was actually like twice what the cost was if you have insurance.
Dental's different.
I mean, if that makes sense. Like
Yeah.
not because the dental insurance was paying that. It literally, they told me, because you have insurance, it's cheaper.
Yeah.
And I was like, that doesn't make any sense. Usually it's like you pay now and it's cheaper or whatever.
Yeah.
No,
So I don't-
dental's
that's
different.
That's
and
different than
vision's different
than
too.
actual medication. But what I'm talking about is just at the pharmacy. But that's
Healthcare.
probably because
No, I've experienced that every time. It's almost not even worth it to like pull out your insurance card, because it's like, oh, if you just like I've been there and I'm like, whoa, why is it that much? And they're like, oh, we'll just bleep bleep bleep. Now it's $10. I was like,
So,
what on
last
earth?
time I went to get some antibiotics for my son, this is, I think, last winter when I was there. I went to CVS, and there's this pharmacy tech there, and they're like, okay, it was $48 or $72 or whatever it was. I don't remember. And I said, oh, I'm self-pay, because that's the magic word. Anytime there's a financial transaction with like medical stuff, I always say, well, I'm self-pay. And the lady literally goes, oh, here. And she holds up this card.
Yeah.
And it had a QR code
and it
on
says,
it. And it said
I'm
nothing.
obligated to not tell you.
Yeah. And she said, and I scanned, and she's like, just scan this with your card. I scanned it. I typed in my email address or something on this website, hit send, and it sent me a barcode. She scanned it, and she's like, okay, $9.32. And I'm
Yeah.
like, from
What is that?
$50 to $9? And I asked, I said, what is that QR code? Because it had no data on it. It was literally
Yeah.
just a printed thing.
With a
And
code
she
on it.
said, if you're self-pay, I can give that to you. If you have insurance, I can't give it to you.
Yeah.
That's
is
Walgreens policy.
So
Yeah.
And-
ridiculous.
And if
Like-
you're really interested in this type of stuff, look up Mark Cuban's business that he started called and
you know the thing.
no, if you type in like Mark Cuban pharmaceutical whatever, he's trying to destroy that whole industry basically by charging ethical amounts of money, because their whole thing is whatever it costs us, we're going to charge you 15% more. That's it. We're just going to make money off 15% of every transaction, and we're going to be awesome. And it's turned pharmaceutical stuff upside down. So.
Yeah, that's pretty wild. And it's really scary, too. Anyway, judges.
Keep on topic.
Super
It's
spooky.
Super spooky.
Anyway, look into your judge. Maybe they're dumb. They are. I've realized. Like you grow up and you're like, wow, a judge. They're like the most prestigious Harvard, blah, blah, blah. It's like, I can tell this person was like the only person that applied. And then they were like, they'd been a lawyer for like 16 months. And it was like, and the lawyer afterwards is like, this judge doesn't know anything. Like,
Phil, I need to sleep
That is
tonight.
scary.
Quit scaring me.
Yeah, it really is.
I need to sleep. Quit
Well, you
being
know
so
how-
spooky.
It's like a zombies.
you know how we're getting a little older and you kind of realize incompetence more. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, especially, I mean,
Within
Home
yourself.
Depot's the best example
Oh, I
ever.
hate Home Depot so
Every
much.
Home Depot employee, like, hey, do you know where this is? Like, and immediately, what do? They pull out their phone.
Yeah.
And it's not some special app they have. It's the
No,
same
it's-
thing you have.
Yeah, it's-
And often I wait like a minute for them to like do something, and then I pull my phone out and like
Start helping them.
slowly type it in, and I'm like, oh, it's on this aisle. Can you tell me where that is? Let me Jake. Do you know
Where's
where-
aisle 1?
Yeah, I was like, oh my god,
Which is so sad because I feel like before you'd ask a question and then they'd be like, "Yes, I can tell you how to
Yeah.
build your."
Sometimes
shed."
you'll run into
Like,
someone who's like been a plumber
knowledgeable.
for 30 years.
Jake. They're idiots too.
But
Yeah.
I'm just
that's-
warning you right
But
now.
that's mostly at Lowe's.
No, they're idiots too. I guarantee it.
Yeah.
You need to walk in with ear muffs on that noise cancel everything, and you just need to look at your app and call your dad if you need to. No one else
That's what I
matters.
do. Just
No one else
rely
matters.
on my dad if I need to.
I hate it. I've had guys I'm in the plumbing department. I'm like, hey, I need a compression fitting for a copper line. And the guy's like, there's no compression fittings for copper line. I'm like, yeah, it's for a swamp cooler. He's like, oh, those are poly lines. I'm like,
Your mom's a poly line.
I was a
Go away.
plumber for 7,000 years. And you're like, I don't even have a calculator. What? It doesn't work like that. They didn't have poly 7,000. I hate them.
Yeah.
Jake, call your dad.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'll do
it's
that
horrible.
Okay.
But that's what I've noticed, even with like attorneys and judges. It's like there are because there are a ton of people that go to law school. Like I'm sure I think BYU has a law school and University
they
of
do.
Utah, and there's got to be like hundreds every year, hundreds of new lawyers, and every one of those lawyers cannot be the sharpest tool in the
They cannot
shed.
just sit there and
The
loy.
sharpest light bulb.
Addicted. Can just loy at you.
Yeah.
Anyway, I've got a lot of Utah news. It's gonna be fun.
7-8.
Creepy.
The LDS Church has announced sleeveless garments for women
What?
only
Not for
in
men.
warmer climates.
No, men too, right?
Yeah, not
Only
for
in
you.
warmer climates?
Yeah, like Africa and the Philippines.
Oh, so
It's
not
only
here.
the
mentioned-
warmer climates.
That's what they said. I don't know what that means.
Okay,
Like
but
if you
like-
can't get them.
2 or 3 months out of the year, it's hotter here than in Africa.
Yeah.
So is there going to be a black market for garments?
Probably.
yeah. I
Jake,
think everyone's just gonna snip,
all
snip, cut
All
those
the
sleeves right
entrepreneurs in Africa
Yeah.
are going to be
My brother's a
starting
missionary in Africa. Look what he's having.
starting a retail business.
Jake,
Yeah.
you need to
Garments.
watch your language, though.
Okay.
Joking about a black market from African.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
come on.
gosh,
I mean-
dude.
I mean Haiti. I mean
off.
Next
Cats and
Yeah,
dogs.
yeah. Cats
story.
and dogs.
Cats and dogs.
But wait, so am I going to be seeing some more shoulders in the summertime? Is that what you're telling
You
me?
will
I
be.
think so.
Oh, baby.
Those shoulders.
Stop it right there.
Shoulders.
Girls, you need to start working on your, I don't know, presses? What would this be?
overhead.
Gotta get-
overhead it's the
You
overhead
can't hide
press.
those
Shoulder press.
saggy
Your-
shoulders anymore.
pull
Yeah.
downs and overhead press.
Sure.
Yeah. So yeah, you might see some more shoulders. Here's the question though. What's
No,
the,
not shoulders, just the upper arm.
Just the upper arm.
That's okay.
They're not
What?
shoulderless garments. They're
That's
not
fine.
tube tops.
Any part of
They're
the
not
shoulder I can
tube-top
get.
garments.
That's fine.
Spaghetti strap garments. Is that next?
Here's the
It-
question though. What's the next like
Modification.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tube top.
Like the next like
Shorter,
less
Well,
shorter
alre-
legs.
shorter
No,
legs?
it'll
that don't go
it'll
past your
plunge.
knees.
Oh, plunging necklines.
Yeah, plunging necklines.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Or like backless ones.
like super
Yeah,
V-neck. Like the never mind, there's
Something
an
like
SNL
that.
skit where everyone
Super V-neck.
one guy comes out at a time with the lower V-neck, and then Ben Stiller comes out and it's like to his knees.
Wasn't there an X-Men that had like it all the way down to her belt or
Yeah.
whatever? Yeah.
Oh wait,
like
is that a strip club? I
That'll
don't
be the
remember.
next. Yeah.
Introducing
Down door belt.
X-Men.
garment pasties. Never mind.
Lightning strikes.
Yes.
No, because I was looking it up, and the original garment was like
Yeah.
a suit that Willy Wonka would wear. Like it had
To the
it had-
wrists.
yeah, and it had like a collar and everything, and it was a full one piece or whatever.
Yeah.
Apparently, it was a one piece till like 1970.
Yeah.
Something like that.
I
With
remember my
flaps?
grandparents talking about it. Yeah.
Yeah,
With flaps though.
yeah. You have to. I think they had butt flaps, probably.
I can just imagine, like, you just like, I got to take a piss, but I'm gonna have to strip down to my ankles.
Yeah, I'm sure
I
they
have
had
to
a
get
little.
naked in the public restroom.
I'm sure it had a
kinda
little
defeats the purpose.
slit in there. I actually, I really do want one piece though, because
A
Yeah.
one piece.
Yeah.
Really?
yeah, because it's like you bend
I don't
over.
think you do. I feel like.
Well, maybe you don't.
I feel like you don't want that.
No,
Let me tell you what you do and what you don't want.
No, I
you
get
don't
the-
want a one piece.
I get the extra long top, so like when I bend over, there's no
Oh, it doesn't come out.
possibility of the coin
Butt crack?
slot. Yeah,
Coins.
but if it was a one piece, it would be like ultra good. You know, I could bend and twist in all manner of ways. And
You'd bend over and you'd have floods.
what's floods?
When your pants go up above your ankles.
You'd start working
yeah.
out so you're more flexible, so you could bend over.
Oh,
to
there
not
you go.
expose your
And then
quad
I'd be like, why do I even wear a one piece? I could rock a two piece.
You bend over and have a
Garments?
wedgie straight from Hades.
So inappropriate. This conversation.
Yep.
Who started it?
So sleeveless garments.
This is sleeveless garments.
Yeah, I've always thought like sleeves, like or shoulders.
Well, it is
like,
kind of crazy. We're talking like an inch and a half, a 2-inch thing and that this is such a big deal.
Yeah,
You know,
2 inches
it's kind
is
of
a big
crazy.
deal.
yeah, it's wild. That's what maybe the next one's gonna be like
2
belly
inches
shirt
goes
a
a
little
long
bit.
way.
That's what I'm saying, like a tube top.
Well,
Yeah, spaghetti strap.
and there's a lot of people that like girls when they get married in the temple come out and then they'll take their garments off and wear just whatever dress that they want to wear now. I
Yeah.
feel like it's just becoming more of a
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's
I
like
have no idea.
It's the church is like they're not wearing them anyway, so we might as well like
Yeah.
make them as easy as possible. Although it's not really yet because it's apparently just in hot countries.
Oh.
which
This is-
missionaries now, I think in the Philippines, can wear flip flops.
Yeah.
I had to walk around in the hottest, sweatiest, most miserable church
Doc
shoes ever. And then it would rain and flood in the afternoon and sewage would wash all over my shoes.
Oh,
So then I would
man.
go home, take off my socks, fill my shoes with Gold Bond powder to like soak
Dry
up
'em
the
out,
whatever.
yeah.
And I had 2 pairs, so luckily in 2 days they'd be pretty dry. But it was ridiculous. It was like flip-flops or sandals, chacos make the perfect sense.
I'm thinking, okay, so I think that the next step would be a consumable item, right? So like garment lotion.
Edible
and
garments?
and then you just have to, or a spray.
Garment lotion.
Yeah, you just spray it on you, and then that's like the protective layer.
Oh, there you go.
You know what I mean? And then people
Spray
have to
on the
buy-
armor of God.
People have to buy lotion. It's no longer like, every 6 months.
You go
get
into
new
like
garments.
a spray tan type thing, and
Yeah,
it's like
Bath and Body Works.
Spray
you're
on
spraying
garments.
on the.
Sell it at Bath and Body Works. And then, because here's the thing, now you're not buying them every 6 months. You're buying them like every few weeks or something, right?
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Auto
You
ship.
just have
consumables.
the
Auto ship.
Yeah, Amazon. You could just set up your,
Your prime.
You just kind of do it when you go get your temple recommend. It's like a.
Yeah, they could do like they could have a rabbi or whatever bless it or whatever they need to do, and then just put they could bless a whole case at a time.
But
consecrated spray on
Yeah,
garments.
you
bless a
could
whole
sell
case of garments.
You could sell. You could sell
Extra
it.
virgin.
You could sell a concentrate for the thrifty people.
Yeah.
There you go.
So they could dilute it
Anyway,
with water.
I should have known bringing it.
I know.
Horrible.
Sorry, everyone.
But
Deepest apologies.
if you live in the Philippines and you're a woman and you're like, I'm not wearing garments because ridiculous. Now you can, and it will still be freaking hotter than it was if you didn't.
Okay.
An extra layer.
Thanks, Jake.
You get it?
Thanks for bringing that up, Jake.
Get it?
Yeah,
You did
welcome.
There are 4 candidates to replace Mitt Romney in the Senate.
Mr.
You guys probably don't even know who they are, but since you're listening to the American Forked podcast, we're going to tell you.
Okay.
We're going to tell you where they are on the issues, why you should vote for one over the other.
How long is this episode going to be?
25 hours.
Just a short 25 hours.
So the first candidate is Carlton E. Bowen. He's an independent American.
Nope.
And my impression is, so I actually watched their debate, and my impression of him is he's like the conservative that's like the pro-Trump conservative. Excuse me.
I have a solid
He wears a red hat in his
He didn't wear a red hat, but he was super like, he actually had a pretty cool background or whatever. I should read it.
Well, he's freaking in Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
He was born and raised in Utah, and he lives in American Fork. He served with distinction in the United States Air Force from 1988 to 1994, received multiple awards and medals for his service during that time. He earned degrees in economics and intelligence and imagery analysis. And
you can get a degree in intelligence?
yeah. Like if you want to be in the CIA or whatever.
Oh, okay.
That kind of intelligence.
I thought it was just a degree in being smart.
I have a degree in intelligence.
But anyway, my impression in the debate is like every single answer. He's like, by the way, I'm the only pro-Trump candidate up here. Mitt Romney sucks for voting against Trump. Blah, blah, blah. Like that was his thing.
Shtick. Okay.
The next guy, John Curtis, is the Republican candidate. He's the former mayor of Provo. He's currently a congressman, I think, for the 3rd district, and a businessman. And he kind of played off Carlton Bowen's accusations that he wasn't pro-Trump, but he didn't come out either and say, I love Trump so much.
Still in the closet?
Yeah, but he's like way ahead of everybody because he's the Republican and he's running in Utah.
He's well known because he's been in Congress for 7 years.
Yeah. And the third person, I should read his thing. Curtis graduated from Brigham Young with a degree in business management before becoming the mayor of Provo in Utah 2010. Curtis was the chief executive officer and partner of Action Target Company, which manufactures shooting range equipment. He was reelected in 2013 with 86% of the vote. He has 6 children and a wife, Sue.
Oh, wife named Sue. I'll vote for him.
Yeah.
The Democratic
You said
candidate.
guns, so I'll support him.
Yeah, you had me at guns.
Had me at guns.
Caroline Gleich or Gleich.
Gleish.
Gleish is the Democratic candidate. She is a pro ski mountaineer. My impression was she wasn't like crazy left, but she had pretty generic answers in the debate. Like we should, like they brought up like what we should do with federal lands, and she was like, they need to stay federal because when they go to the state, they just get sold off to the highest bidder and drilled or whatever. And the Republican was a little more moderate on that, and the independent Trump guy was like, F the government, they suck. Let's take back all the federal land.
Homestead, garden, gun.
She graduated magna cum laude from the University of Utah, Bachelor of Anthropology, and was honored with Distinguished Alumni Award. She's testified before Congress a lot on the climate and climate change, things like that. And she was in an REI documentary about skiing like all the serious slopes of Utah or something like that. But she's a ski mountaineer. I think she climbs mountains and skis down them in the winter.
Wow.
So it's pretty cool.
That is cool.
And then some guy no one's ever heard of who wasn't even in the debate, Laird Fetzer Hamblin, is unaffiliated. And I just have question marks next to their name. That's a guy's name, right?
Laird?
I would think Laird is a...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, you heard it all here on American Fork. Now you actually know something about that ballot thing you can check. Because picking the senator's probably pretty important. But my impression was there wasn't a huge... Like, none of these people were, like, distinguished, if that makes sense. They were pretty... And probably because it's Utah, they were, like, pretty nice and cordial. Except for the one guy who was like, Donald Trump's the best and these guys suck.
Yeah.
So bad.
Wow. Thanks, Phil.
You're welcome.
I'm going to vote based off of everything you just said.
The governor race is not tight at all. Cox is leading 54%. The next candidate has 26%, which is about what that Senate race is looking like. So I guess what I'm really saying is it really doesn't matter what you do because the Republicans are all going to win in Utah.
Wait, who are you saying in the Senate race is ahead?
The Republican.
No, but
what
who
was
is
his
that?
Name?
Curtis? John Curtis?
John
Curtis.
He's ahead of Romney's stepping down, right?
Yeah.
Romney's stepping down.
Yeah.
And the numbers actually look almost exactly the same. I think he has like 53 and the Democrat has like 20 and the other guy has like, the pro-Trump guy has much less.
Yeah.
But I think both races said 20% were still unsure. I don't think that's going to change anything. Unless all 20% vote Democrat, then it could actually be pretty close. But
But then there's I've seen more write-in Phil Lyman.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of that too.
Who's Phil Lyman?
Phil Lyman
He was for the Republican
He
Party,
ran
yeah.
at the primaries, or the primaries is
Yeah.
the one that before, but Cox won, and now everyone's Lyman signs has a write-in Phil Lyman thing that they put on it. I see far more Lyman signs than I do Cox signs. All over the place. I don't see any Cox signs on anyone's yard.
That's because he doesn't have to campaign,
It would
probably.
be super inappropriate if someone was just putting Cox signs on their yard.
Yeah.
You are all about those.
Jeff watches a lot of porn. Let's be honest.
But I'm going to write in Phil Lyman.
Are you?
Yeah, for governor.
Who? I don't.
Well, who is he? What does he do?
I like Phil Lyman.
I don't
What's
know who
wrong?
Phil Lyman
What's
is.
wrong with Cox?
Cox has been doing a good job. He even had us pray and we solved the water.
Oh yeah, I
He
remember
did
that.
make it rain.
So if he can do that, I think he can do other things. I actually think he's done an okay job. I don't have complaints in that department.
Yeah, my gripe would be that I think more should have been done to stem this housing crisis, like as it was happening.
Like what?
Like when companies were buying everything up, they should have been like, nope.
Isn't that a federal problem though?
No. Even the local governments could have stepped in there.
Interesting.
Like
saying you can't buy things?
Like West Valley could have, they could have come in and said like, if you own more than 5 residential single family homes, the local tax on those goes up 500%. And suddenly people would quit buying them.
I don't know if it's that easy.
I think it is.
Okay.
But you have to overcome
Could have made some steps though.
You have to overcome all the lobbying and corruption and donations to your candidacy.
That's true. I do wish it was. I mean, it seems like a new problem though. It's not like, so I wonder if it kind of crept up on everyone and then it's like, holy cow. When I say new problem, I mean within the last five years.
As soon as it was like people were families were having to overbid, like crazy, like 30% over asking just to even have a chance. Somebody should have been like, well, something's wrong here. Oh, it's because all these companies are buying everything up.
Yeah,
companies in Chicago.
Initially,
and New York
everybody thought it was just because people are moving here, to Utah. But turns out it was these big companies.
Well,
buying.
it's that, and it's a housing shortage, which is also a problem.
Yeah.
And I don't know the numbers, but it seems like they've been rocking it as far as like trying to develop every square inch they can, but it's still not enough. Apparently, they need a lot more. They need to be building apparently twice as many houses as they are just to fill demand that they're expecting. And twice is a lot.
Yeah, and they did do some things. Utah State did some things that were pretty stupid too. Like eased up the requirements to become a general contractor so that more general contractors can build more houses, which I wasn't aware that general contractors was a shortage.
Yeah.
Now someone can literally within like 2 months become a general contractor.
Yeah.
So now there's a bunch of yahoos running around there thinking they know what they're doing. And
Yeah,
it's
don't
just
even get
a
me started
joke.
on that.
Okay.
Yeah, you went through
Next
some
subject.
ringer on theirs, right?
Yeah, I got my license, I think, in 2014.
Here we go.
And
I got you started. Sorry.
you got me started. And it was a joke. Like, I had to go through so many hoops to get my license. And then after I did, it's like this with everything in my life. So you started a really good gripe. And I've said this before. I go to elementary school. It's like so run down and old. And 2 years after I leave, they build like a whole new school, Forbes Elementary.
Yeah.
Junior high. And we all did this together. So you guys are in on this part with me.
Yeah.
But it was the oldest, dumpiest place. And they like build a brand new one after we left.
Yeah.
The high school they redid after we left. The college I went to in Boston was the oldest, crappiest, like 1950s thing. And then they built like a $100 million skyrise thing after I left.
Yeah. What's all the tuition
theme.
you
With all
paid?
that tuition that I'm still paying.
Then you moved out of your parents' house and they finished your room.
Yeah, they finished the basement. Anyway, after I got my contractor's
Poor Phil.
license and sent in all these appeals and stuff for decisions they'd made to try and get my license, they just apparently because of my efforts were like, yeah, this is too convoluted, so let's make it really, really easy.
Way too
Yeah,
easy.
and then I was like, oh, well now thanks a lot because I just did like all this crap.
Yeah.
And I didn't even have to. I could have waited a year and just like done nothing.
Do I make you feel better?
And in a nutshell, listener, if you're wondering what I'm talking about, the biggest thing they've changed is they used to, if you're going to become a contractor, you had to prove prior experience. And the way you proved it was only through W-2 employment, which is hilarious because most construction industry labor is paid 1099. It's like you're contractors. So if you didn't have W-2 employment specifically, that was difficult. Now, you don't even have to prove employment. You literally just have to sign a thing saying, yes, I have experience, and you get a license.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Holy cow.
I had a friend who had a type of contractor license, but it was like specifically for doing a very specific type of work. And he's like, well, I'm just going to become a general contractor. It's become so easy. I'm like, cool. Well, keep in touch and tell me what the process is. He's like, okay, so I got 4 weeks worth of classes. I'm like, oh, wow, that's a lot of classes, thinking it's like all day long. He's like, oh, no, it's like 2 days a week for like 4 hours. Oh, okay, cool. So 2, 4, 6, 8, like not many classes, right? And then so weeks into that, I said, what are you guys studying about? Like building code? What are you learning? He's like, we're learning how to pass the test.
Yeah.
He's like, literally, they're just going through the
They're
test
just
and telling
prepping
us
for
like
the
what
test.
the answers are
Wow.
and why those answers are that way. And I said, what kind of things are on there? He's like, there's a lot of stuff about insurance. There's a lot of stuff about like licensing. There's a lot of stuff about OSHA stuff. And I'm just like, is there anything about building code, which to me is like one of the biggest
nothing
things
about
you need to
electrical
know.
or
Yeah.
And he's
structural.
like, not really.
Oh, man.
I'm like,
Wow.
holy crap. He has his general contractor's license. If he built you a house right now, it would fall over.
See,
Yeah.
that is scary. Goes right in line
So,
with this album.
so the government's like, let's make it. Let's get a bunch of crappy houses out there.
Yeah.
And
as
that will
fast as
solve the
possible.
problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stupid.
I don't know. Yeah, I agree. I think they kind of missed the mark of like, well, and the reason I think they did this, because I think big construction companies probably lobbied for it because those are the ones that tend to get in trouble if they hire like an unlicensed subcontractor. Like the bigger companies tend to get audited more and things like that. So I think it was the big companies who were like, I like this drywall guy, but he can't get licensed. And so it's like we're trying to pay him W-2, but it's like weird because he just bids a price. So we want our subs to have an easier time and quit all this like this special license, blah, blah, blah. Just do a general whatever. And everyone will get a general and then it's easier. That's my guess of how it went down. But
Well, just my company gets audited every single year.
yeah.
Every year. They go through it, and if we hire someone that doesn't have insurance or we hire someone that's not licensed, we end up paying fees for them.
Yeah.
Every year.
Well, my dad works for Doppel. He just investigates contractors like me.
Yeah.
So he literally drives around to job sites and like walks on and is like, "Is everyone here licensed?" And everyone just like disappears out the back and like runs away.
Scatters like cockroaches.
Yeah.
Thank goodness there's an egress window through here.
Yeah.
That's why they make them.
Yeah.
So they can escape when Phil's dad comes.
So it's funny, and it's the same with like illegal immigration or migration, however the appropriate thing you're supposed to say now. But
Unhoused.
yeah, it's glossed over because that's how houses are getting built and things like that. So
Yeah.
I don't know, complicated issues, I guess.
So Governor Cox. All right, go ahead.
Anyway, so yeah, I guess people are happy with him. I mean, I like the way he handled COVID was handled pretty well in Utah. I think we weren't like nuts about it, and we still had like some of the best results. So that was cool.
Yeah.
Right?
We didn't die.
We didn't die, and we
didn't,
also didn't like go crazy. Although I'm still miffed about freaking soda fountain drinks. Why they ever? And that's more of like a health department thing, but
What soda fountain drink? What?
they're like, it's totally fine for you to open the door at Maverick with your hand that everyone else touches, but you can't pick up a cup and fill up a drink because that spreads germs. It's like, no, it doesn't.
Or using a refillable mug at like a coffee shop or something.
Yeah.
Oh, we don't do that.
Yeah, because the outside of the mug is going to touch the ice clicker thing.
I feel like a lot of things were just to make people feel better.
Yeah,
Like, we're doing something.
You know what one pissed me off is like sanitizing everything, like inanimate objects constantly.
Yeah.
You're like, no one's even been in that room for a year.
That's a parking curb. Why would you wipe that down?
Yeah, did you hear that they're like spraying all of New York City for mosquitoes? Like they have big garbage truck size vans that drive around and it's like
that's not
misting
a new thing.
the whole
Yeah, they do that
place.
in places in the South.
Do they?
Yeah, that's not a new
Wow.
thing. In fact, I was in like New Jersey-ish area when I was in junior high.
Yeah.
And I saw this fogger go by, and I'm like, "Is it Halloween?" But my stepmom
you got a
Set
kid,
the stage.
you got a
strobe
strobe
light.
light, the smoke,
A strobe light behind him.
yeah. But then my parents were like, "No, that's a mosquito truck," and you're like, "Huh?" And it was sketchy because you're like, if that's killing mosquitoes, what else is it killing?
Yeah.
Because it doesn't look
They have
safe.
that
It's helping the healthcare industry.
They have it in Korea.
Yeah,
we
exactly.
call it the Mogi Man because Mogi is Korean for mosquito. And he would just come around. It looks like he walks around. He's got a pack on and a blower, fogging the streets, and kids are in there playing. And
Oh man,
they'd swarm around to
like
to
mosquitoes.
play in
Like
the
mosquito.
yeah, like mosquitoes to a flame. But it's
In the Philippines, there was a guy like that killed dogs.
No.
Nuh-uh.
He just walked around with like a club behind his back like this. Like I'm holding my hands up like on my neck.
You're lying. Are you serious?
And would just like walk up to him and whack him.
Because there was a lot of strays. That would
Strays.
cause
Did you
problems.
apply
And they
for
were
that job,
rabid.
Phil?
I should have.
Yeah.
I
On
always
your
wanted
P
that
days, you're
job.
like,
I've always
sign me
wanted
up.
to kill dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I've stated before. We had slingshots, poison or pepper spray, squirt guns.
Yeah.
We were well armed.
I heard that Filipino guy plays for the MLB now. He's got a home run record that you can't believe.
Probably. You would understand if you saw dogs in the
they're like
Philippines.
rabid. And
Yeah, and they're like sores under their eyes, and like some of them, all the skin is falling off.
Oh,
And you can
sad.
literally
That's
see
terrible.
their organs sloshing
No.
around. Dead
Okay.
serious.
Well, then that's more like a mercy
and
killing.
they're just
it
like,
sounds
yeah, exactly. They're
Yeah.
like disgusting creatures, like poor things.
this is good for Halloween. Zombie
Yeah.
dogs.
Yeah. See, we're
Zombie
reining it.
They really
We're-
are. Like
we're
if you ever
pulling it in.
saw Resident Evil or whatever, where the zombie dogs, that's what they're like.
Nonfiction.
Imagine like a pack of those things suddenly run out. They're all nipping at you.
Wow.
So we threw a lot of rocks. We squirted some squirt guns.
This is scarier than our radio script from.
Yeah.
GTP.
Yeah, you should have been like, write a story about Phil being a missionary in the Philippines attacked by Resident Evil
Zombie
dogs.
dogs.
Sketch.
Yeah. In its defense, ChatGPT kind of wrote a story.
Well, I think it was missing an intimacy director.
Yeah. Intimacy coach.
Yeah.
Mike's play, The Hunchback of Notre Dame, had an intimacy director.
And we were like, what is this for?
It was
So,
on
like
the- it was
in
on
the
the play
on the
though.
play program, it was like intimacy director. And we were like,
For kissing, probably.
Yeah, for all the intimacy.
There wasn't
Yeah.
that much.
I felt
I think
uncomfortable.
it was one of
a
those
lot
things-
heated moments.
I think it was one of those things you put on the ballot to show, like, oh, we paid attention to this. It's like safety director never showed up, but they had a safety director.
He came in with a crutch or
He was injured most of the
wheelchair all
time.
the time.
On to national news. You will. It's kind of. I guess this is actually Utah/national news, but there is a candidate on your ballot when you open it called Lucifer, just in case, every love.
What?
And that is not a joke. I got a ballot in the mail and opened it, and that is on there. And they said, yes, that's legally their name. It appears on their passport. But Everlove, who also goes by the name Lucy, told News Nation affiliate KTVX that the name change had nothing to do with any ballots, but was instead a personal and spiritual decision. They said some people mentioned that other deity, referring to the devil or Satan, who is also sometimes referred to as Lucifer, while they were out collecting signatures, but they said that Latin roots of the name translate to a messenger of light. But where did the middle name Just In Case come from? Just In Case is my DJ name, Everlove said.
This is such a promo
Also,
for him.
yes, it's a pun, which I leaned on during the signature gathering, as in, just in case you can't vote for the other two guys. And there's a picture of
Yeah, zoom in on
they
that.
right there. I
Oh,
guess
it's
I guess
they.
it looks like Marilyn Manson's younger, gayer, more hip brother, sister.
So is this person a non-binary? Is that
I think
I
so. It said they in there, I think.
So probably.
Something. I was laughing at this, and I'm also like, why can this guy get on the ballot and freaking RFK
can't? Yeah.
That's insane.
Well, my understanding,
he could,
he's
but-
only on Utah.
Yeah, only on Utah, yeah.
Okay.
So that's the thing, but RFK is a Kennedy, had a lot of money behind him, did all the things right,
Yeah.
and they kicked him off.
So
Still bitter.
Are you voting for Lucifer?
It was. I actually would be thrilled if he gets like a lot of votes.
That'd be funny,
Yeah,
huh?
it would be really funny.
Yeah. Well, he has a chance.
Yeah. Speaking about the presidential election, it's coming up. By the time you listen to this, you probably only have days to make up your mind about who you're going to vote for.
Yeah.
Is that a funny joke?
I don't know.
Who are you voting for, Jeff?
Oh, was that a joke?
I was just thinking, if you could have any president from history be president right now, who would it be?
Yeah.
Dead or alive?
Yeah. Well, duh. Yeah. The choices of alive is pretty
Jimmy Carter,
crappy.
who's like
800
coma?
years old.
Did he die yet?
Yeah. Who? Yeah, that's a weird question, actually.
Yeah.
Because, like, if Abraham Lincoln were president today, would he be good?
Yeah.
You think so?
No, or no. That, I mean, like
She's
good.
mimicking the
good
question.
question.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, like that's a good point. Is what
I
I'm
don't
trying to
know.
say.
I don't either. Maybe he actually would, because my impression of him is that he wasn't like, he was kind of like aloof and like did
Yeah.
things in the shadows, made all the good stuff happen, but he wasn't like out there in front of everyone's face on Twitter, like
Yeah, that's true.
saying a thing.
He wasn't on Twitter. That's a
Yeah.
fact. We cross-checked
Like,
that.
like maybe that's what we need is someone who just like,
Contrary to popular belief.
maybe,
fact-checked.
maybe
Lincoln
we
was
need
not on
someone
Twitter.
like Biden who never appears or says anything, but is actually like doing
Doing
something.
something.
Doing
Yeah.
something.
Yeah. I think you can't go too old. Like you go George Washington, he'd be like, I'm out of here. This is dumb.
Yeah.
You know?
I'm gonna go brush my wooden teeth.
Yeah. I'm going back to England and make beer.
He didn't have wooden
Or
teeth,
whatever. Who
oddly
did?
enough.
I thought somebody wasn't that a
It's like
a
an
myth.
It was a
urban
myth.
legend.
It
They were
is.
actually lead.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
He had lead teeth, which is a common idiocy back then.
What about Roosevelt? I just like that he hung out at the national parks. That was cool.
Yeah, he'd probably make more of them. Or maybe he'd be like, whoa, you overdid it. Bear's ears.
Bear's ear?
Yeah.
Let's just get the whole bear.
Like we have way too much.
Yeah.
Anyway, the election is virtually tied according to polls. Sometimes Trump goes up a little, sometimes Kamala goes up.
Yeah.
They say that virtually tied actually looks really bad for Kamala because Trump was further behind in polls in the last two elections.
Mm-hmm.
So that might mean something.
I think part of it is that people that are going to vote for Trump don't really promote it anymore. Like they don't care. They're not saying anything. They don't have to put signs up in their yard. They just, you know what I mean? They're done.
Well, do you feel like most of the people that are in the middle are going to vote for Trump?
I don't know. It's hard.
That's weird.
Hard thing to see at this point. I still see a lot of people hating Trump. Trump has definitely had worse like he's gotten worse, I would say, rather than better.
You think?
Since the last election, just because you have the January 6th, you have the document stuff, which it's like whether or not he like actually gets charged or in trouble for any of that. For me, at least, the documents thing was like, the F, dude. You literally just said, lock Hillary up, lock Hillary up, lock Hillary up. Oh, I did it too. Like,
yeah,
it was bizarre.
Yeah,
I think he's gone up.
Oh, you think he's more popular?
Yeah, like,
well,
since the assassination attempts, the mugshot, the him working at McDonald's for an hour or so. Like, I think that he's a lot of these photo op PR things that he's doing, and things that inadvertently become PR, like heaven sent for him. I think that his numbers are going up. He's going up, and Harris is going way down with Latin voters. She's at like 29% with Latin voters.
I've heard
43.
both things. Yeah, there's those things too to consider. Like without all that other stuff, just him getting shot should have won him the election. But it's like both candidates are so bad.
Yeah,
that's the only reason
really
they're not killing the other. You know what I mean? Like Trump should be killing Kamala.
Yeah.
Because, and I mean that in a entirely metaphorical
Sure,
way.
Phil.
Yeah,
We
right.
followed you, Phil. Don't worry.
My mom's going to come after you and someone that's tempted
He
to
should.
kill
What's a
Kamala.
better word? He should be slaying her.
No, it's not fair.
Still not in the way
Not
that
even-
Trent slays things. He should really be winning because she really has done poorly. Like, she's one of the least popular vice presidents in modern history. So just from that right there is like, whoa, she'll never win. But he's bad enough that it's like she has a chance.
Okay.
And in reverse, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Like he's done enough weird things and gotten in enough trouble that it's like he should.
I'm going to preface this.
I've lost
Shouldn't
my-
even be allowed to be in that position to run for presidency. Really.
Yeah.
Here's a question for you, Phil. And I'm going to go out front and say I'm not pleased with our choices. I wish there was a few more dishes on the menu.
Yeah.
Because there are people that I actually like that are not on the ballot, right?
Right.
So here's my question. If you look at the bad things from Donald Trump, how much of that is coming from the news and being repeated over and over and over and over and over and over and over? No matter what people think, it's just coming from the news. And I hate. And then how much of the bad things from Kamala Harris is not because it's being repeated over and over and over and over, but you actually just look at it and go, I don't like that.
Yeah.
What I'm getting at is the only thing you can judge them off of is the last 4 years of her being vice president and the previous 4 years of him being president.
Right.
And if I just look at that, not their Twitter account, not what the news says, just my life in those years, I would rather have it be from 2016 to 2020.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, look at it this way, because I agree. Most of the stuff about Trump has been like media. But
And whether you want it or not, it's shoved in your face.
right. But factually, on the night of the election last time, before the votes were counted, Trump got up and said, we won, they're cheating, they stole it. Like all before there was any evidence or any counting or anything, which is not great for a major candidate. Like we should be like, this is democracy, and if I lose, that's great because the people chose, and that's what's going down. Now, there might be some secret thing that Trump knew about that never got out for some reason. Maybe it's classified, maybe whatever. But it seems like we know he did that at least. Like whether or not he actually incited January 6th or whatever, we know that he kind of denied the election. And the other thing to me is the documents case. We know, like factually, he kept classified documents and showed them to people and bragged about it. And that even though there's an argument to be made that the president can do that because he's the president, he owns classified documents. He literally, his whole campaign before was, Hillary's a criminal, we should lock her up, and whatever. Like those things stand out to me through all the mess. Is like there's some real reasons why Donald Trump is losing to Kamala, and I think those are big parts of it. I think without those two things, he probably would be doing a lot better right now. But it's like tied.
So who are you voting for?
Well, I'm not saying I'm voting for one or another. Actually, I'm voting for RFK, 100%.
You're gonna write
So you're
going to
vote for Trump?
No, I actually think I'm going to write RFK in because he's not on Utah's ballot, which I'm annoyed about.
Literally, it won't do anything. You might as well write Mickey Mouse. It will not.
No,
be
they
counted.
have to count it.
They'll count it.
Yeah.
But let's say hypothetically he got majority in Utah. RFK will not be nominated from Utah.
I'm actually so glad you brought this up because I think that mentality is the most undemocratic thing is probably part of why our system is broken because it's a strategy. It's like, I'm not going to vote for who I believe in the best. I'm going to be a part of a strategy. And that strategy tends to benefit a party, which is its own thing with power and stuff, not the people.
So if we all voted for Lucifer and a majority got Lucifer, he will be nominated because he's on the ballot.
Right.
You can't just write Mickey Mouse in or RFK, even if he got majority and then Donald Trump got 17%. Donald Trump, because he's on the ballot, will go. You know what I mean?
No, they count it. It's real. Like if you write RFK, if a majority of people write RFK will win. The ballot is purely
not majority rules.
The ballot is purely there for the convenience of the people to know like who to vote for instead of just counting like a million random names that everyone writes.
But I'm telling you, it's not majority rules.
Well, it can be.
It's the electorate. It's the electoral college. You can win popular vote, but the electoral college really decides who's president.
Well, yeah. So that doesn't matter anyway. But what I'm saying is you can write in anybody and that person can win with enough write-ins. And that's how
I don't think so.
I'm just saying that's how I think it should be. I think people need to stop being like, well, I don't want to vote for who I really want to because I don't want Kamala to win or I don't want Trump to win. Instead of everyone voting for who they think. Because wouldn't that be a really great like rebuke of our party system if neither of them won because of all these write-ins?
I want to make sure you understand. I completely agree with you.
Yeah.
100%. But what I'm saying is the way the Electoral College is set up is that even if somebody got majority votes in Utah, that's all I can speak of. I don't know all the states. In Utah, if someone wrote in majority and they got 60% or 51% of everybody, 51% of people wrote in a separate name.
Yeah.
Even then, because they're not on the ballot, the Electoral College will
Won't
give it
recognize
to
it.
the next person.
Well, it might depend on the state because like different electors have different rules depending on their state. And
That's
one
right.
rule might be like you have to vote for the majority. And so that might not be the case. They might have to vote.
Like, for example, some states can split their electoral college.
Right.
But
you can also have faithless electors. And like they had with Hillary Clinton, I think she had 2 or 3 faithless electors who just didn't do what they were supposed to. They voted against her, and the state fined them like $10,000, or I think it was actually small. It was like $600 or something like that. So people can do that too. But what I'm saying is, like, I think as Americans, we need to vote for who we believe would be the best president.
Yeah.
And nothing else. There's no strategy. There's no like, well, you're throwing away your vote. Because I think that's why we're in the mess we're in. Because people are like, what's the lesser of the evils? It's like, well, you can actually vote for anyone. You could vote for Elon Musk. You could... You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
but the problem is that strategy, what you're communicating, requires 100% cooperation.
Yeah.
But
everyone has to do it.
Right, but it's not going to get to 100% unless someone starts doing it.
Yep.
So that starts with you, Phil. We know
I'm going to be the
But
one.
you can't even make it past this room.
Yeah.
So...
My mom listens.
Oh.
I convinced Jake's mom to vote from her heart. So anyway, we've probably thrown enough mud on your electoral decision for you to be even more confused about what to do. But
let that confusion...
More than likely, nothing we've said here will affect anyone listening. Everyone's already made up their mind.
That brings up what we're going to change the name of the podcast to. It's the After Party Podcast.
Oh, yeah. After party.
Yeah.
After political parties.
Yeah.
No, I do. I've thought about that a lot lately because I can't remember what I was reading, but it was something about how they were talking about like different states trying this thing and that thing. And I'm like, wow, how far have we strayed from like the people vote? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like this big, it's like almost they're trying to do everything they can legally to get around that. You know what I mean? Like, how do we, the people are going to vote, but we're going to make sure we steer it like as much as possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a joke.
Yeah.
I've waffled every election. I have that inner turmoil. Do I just throw my vote away and vote for literally the person that I feel would be president, the best president, or do I, play into the system and vote for the person on the candidate where, by doing that, I'm actually making my voice heard. Yeah. Otherwise, you're part of the fraction of a fraction of a percent if you're writing in the legit person you feel is best.
Well, think of it this way. How bad do the candidates have to be? Like, how bad does the Republican and Democratic candidate have to be for there to be like at least enough write-ins that it's like, whoa, they actually are really unpopular because people are just like writing in whoever. Like, how bad do they have? What do they actually have to do to earn that?
Yeah.
And have we not got there already?
I don't think they can get that. Like, you could have Satan himself run for one party and Jesus himself run for the other party. And people are so married to the idea of voting for one or the other that's ingrained in their mind that's how it's done.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Satan would be pretty cool, though. He'd probably like...
Well, we've got Lucifer
not
on
have sleeves.
Utah, so it's
definitely. Just those 1-inch sleeves.
Yeah.
Shoulders everywhere.
Anyway, I thought of this question. We'll hurry through it to get past election stuff. But if you were theoretically an alien who assumed the fleshy body of a human and you were going to vote, who would it be for and why? And put yourself in this situation. Like, you're not accustomed to the politics. You just come down here. You like did a Wikipedia search of the candidates.
I would run for president.
And you're like, who's going to make sure humanity keeps going? Like, that's in your interest.
So who would you vote for?
Yeah.
That's what your question
As
is.
an alien.
As an alien.
Very good.
Very good.
Did I
Yep.
stump you there?
Yep.
And
Probably-
only these two candidates, right? Or
Yeah,
who we can
or
pick
three.
from.
Let's not forget about RFK, even
Oh,
though
He's
he's,
not even on the ballot.
Yeah.
he is in some states against his will.
Yeah. Okay.
So
Yeah. Oh, a person that doesn't even want to be president now that stood behind another president because he said, I think something to the effect
Yeah.
of he will be the person that saves this country.
yeah,
Oh,
I would
that guy.
say, as an alien, as a
Rewind.
as an alien from another planet, I am most likely familiar. The person I am most likely familiar with would be Elon Musk.
There you go.
oh, okay.
So that would be I'd come to Earth.
Because you like touched
And
his
I-
technology when
I
he went out
know-
into space.
Yeah.
One person
And that's
on Earth. It's Elon Musk.
Oh, Elon
So
is an alien.
No,
you're saying.
Elon Musk, because Elon is
He's the closest to an alien.
as an alien. I know that Elon Musk wants to send my Earthlings to Mars
Yeah.
Yeah.
and get them off this planet so that aliens can come.
So
and
you're saying the
populate
alien
Earth.
would vote for Donald Trump
as an
because
alien
Elon
from
Musk
another planet?
Yes.
I would
endorses
Okay,
Trump.
good job, Jeff.
I would.
He'd
I would vote for
Trump,
Elon Musk.
Okay.
which is voting
Well,
for Trump.
Yeah, because I was gonna say a vote for Trump is a vote for Elon because he's gonna like run the scissoring of the government.
That's
Yeah.
so
okay.
inappropriate.
That just happened.
The knifing is that
my
better?
gosh.
The axing.
Ethics.
The axing of the.
What are we
proliferating the ethics of.
What are we
the
going to
government.
axe the government?
Yeah. What about you, Amber? If you were an alien,
If I was an alien, I would probably vote for Trump. Because did you see the thing where the teleprompter went out with Kamala?
Kamala. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Okay. I'm sorry. This is not a leader on any level. I feel like if the teleprompter would have went out with Trump, he would have been like, "Oh, the teleprompter's out," and then like done something like whatever.
Yeah.
Took some type of initiative. Like Kamala was just like,
32 days left.
so 32 days.
oh really? I haven't even
so-
seen this.
It's
It was
so,
so awkward.
uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So uncomfortable. So I
You
feel
could
like
tell.
if
You could
yeah.
tell her cue
if
was
you
gone.
are like there's no thinking on her own, you
Yeah.
know, like, and she's been put in that position many times to where I feel like it's been uncomfortable like that, to where at least Trump, and as an alien, is a little bit more entertaining than come on, I don't know.
It's the dance.
It's just it's so I think Trump's an asshole, really. Like I don't like him, but out of the options,
But you're an alien.
as an alien,
You're an alien
as
who
an
doesn't
alien,
know.
yes. I'm gonna pick Trump.
It's a good argument because
Should we watch this
yeah,
video?
show it to me.
Okay.
I haven't seen it.
I don't know this video. I'm just clicking it.
Okay.
Careful.
Panic set in. She can't do it without that prompter. Here's that moment. Look at this.
They're kneeling, Senator Stabenow, Senator Peters, Representative Slotkin, who we will elect to the United States Senate. Today we
Still
got
has a prompter
32
there.
days until the election.
Here it freezes.
And the prompter's
Look, you
out.
could see it right there in her face, like
32
Uh-oh.
days. 32 days. Okay, we got some business
saying
to do. We got some business to do. All right.
This is uncomfortable.
32 days. And we know we will do it.
what we don't know.
And this is going to be a very tight race until the very end. This is going to be a very tight race until the very end. We are the underdog, and we know we have some hard work ahead. But here's the thing about us. We like hard work. We like hard work.
She could have literally said anything with some inflection and caused the crowd to like.
Yeah, this is like what I would consider like classic Kamala. Like before she ran, these were the type of videos that were really funny. Like, have you guys seen the Veep one? Do you know what Veep is? There was a show,
Julia
Veep.
Louis-Dreyfus.
Yeah, and I think it was like one of those super liberal talk show hosts. What was that, late night something? Anyway, they did this like comparison. This was like back in May or whatever. It was like a comparison between Kamala and Julia Louis-Dreyfus's character on Veep, because her character, she was the vice president, and she was like, and this show was years ago apparently, but it was like insanely accurate. Like one would be like, these are hard things, and hard things are hard, and then it would go to Kamala, and she'd be like, say like almost the same thing. Like, it was crazy. So yeah.
I feel,
and there's been some speculation that she's had like earpieces in, right?
Yeah, with her earrings
during the debate
and things.
During the debate,
I've also wondered if like that's maybe she was in some ways a good prosecutor, because in a prosecution you have to like teach a dumb jury basic facts. He was at the house. He was at the house.
Yeah.
Like,
there was a
the
house.
school bus was
And he was
yellow.
there.
And
These individuals were in that house.
Right, exactly. That's kind of the impression that I get. And maybe she's just like, maybe it is smart, because she literally just said that and the crowd went wild. Like, what'd she say? Like, we will do it.
Because we like hard work. Hey, let's be totally fair. And I've never seen this video at all. It says teleprompter goes out on Trump. Just to have a terrible.
Yeah. Okay.
And this is only
like
2
it.
weeks ago. So
Well,
it's
Trump
not
doesn't
like,
even use a teleprompter.
Well, he
so
does.
it's
Yeah,
not
he
even
does.
fair.
He does.
We're at a point in our country's life that I think is the most important election in the history of our country. I think there's never been anything as important. There's never been anything like it. And by the way, I want to tell you a funny story. Can I tell you one story before we leave? The teleprompter just went out.
See, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. It's like, be natural,
Yeah.
Just went
adapt to your situation.
I'm standing here, and I do most of it without the Isn't it nice to have somebody that doesn't need a teleprompter?
He's making fun of her.
Yeah, this is after her incident.
Teleprompters. You know, it's very dangerous. You got to be careful. You know, teleprompters will often go out. And if you're a certain type of person like Joe Biden, what would he do with the teleprompter? He's no good when the teleprompter is on. What would you do? No, the teleprompter just went out. And you know what I say? Usually I don't talk about it. Just keep going. Just keep going. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for being here. It's wonderful. I love you very much. And go out and vote.
See, I don't know. I felt like he kind of did the same thing there. It's like the teleprompter went out, went out.
He used it as an opportunity to make fun of the other candidates,
kinda
which I don't
throws you
really
off.
like.
Yeah. Every time I see him talk, I see the little accordion.
Yeah.
Yeah, in between his hands.
You
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
I love it.
I mean, he's ridiculous. I'm not like saying.
No,
you know,
I'm just trying.
Yeah.
But I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Like, she just like,
she didn't have any
in
confidence there. She just froze.
Yeah.
And maybe it was staged. I don't
You
know.
could
That
see
could have
the
been
moment.
staged.
Yeah.
You
Well,
could
I
see the
think-
moment in her eyes when the teleprompter went out, and you knew it went out when on him because he said it.
Right.
Yeah.
He brought it up. He's like, crap.
and I have wondered, like, doing these campaigns, if it's so monotonous that like you almost have to have a prompter to keep talking. You know what I mean? Like, you get up
Yeah.
3 times a day for like 90 days
Saying
straight.
the
So you
same
think
crap
that, so you think you
everywhere.
wouldn't need the or would be able to come up with something else besides
Yeah.
just repetitively saying 32 days.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
She's terrible. What about you, Jeff?
One of the things I liked is that I have a lot more access to JD Vance and Donald Trump from many different platforms. They're going on podcasts. They're doing tons of interviews.
Mm-hmm.
As
There's
an
tons of
alien, though,
rallies.
you're an alien.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
So
you
if I
as
look,
an alien, you looked up a lot of podcasts.
No, I'm saying if you look at the content that is out there to make your judgment call of who's doing what, it's lots and lots of data on one end and not as much data on the other end.
So there's like a lot of content out there being supportive of Donald Trump.
Because I'm assuming that all the content this alien's basing it off of is stuff that has left the Earth signal-wise and gone to the internet. And, you know what I mean?
I don't think he's saying it's more positive.
Just more data.
He's just saying there's more. Like JD Vance has done like 90 interviews.
Yeah.
I'm listening
Tim
to
Walz
Walz has done like 5 or something. Is just crazy. And
I'm listening to one right now with JD Vance, and he's actually a pretty cool guy. getting to know like his history more. And
I was impressed. Did you see his movie on Netflix?
No.
Starring Amy Adams, I think.
Amy Adams played J.D. Vance.
No, she plays his mom.
Oh.
And I don't know who plays him, but he did a pretty good job. It's actually really good. Ron Howard directed it.
Oh.
And it was on Netflix. But the short story of his life was he grew up and his mom was an addict.
Yeah.
And had a rough life.
Yeah.
And barely made it off to school and all that. And actually almost didn't get into law school because he had to like go home and help his mom not die pretty much.
Yeah.
So it was really good.
Trump is going to be on Joe Rogan. This week.
Joe Rogan.
Oh, wow.
This Friday.
But I think that Kamala has been invited to be on it too. Like they actually want her to
he
be on
invited
there.
both.
And I don't think that she's accepted.
Because
no.
she can't do live
She
things.
can't do that.
Did you see when she was on Oprah too?
Yeah.
Like people are asking her questions and she just does that thing where you're like, what are you saying?
Yeah.
Like,
She
what
tries
are
to
you
take-
saying?
She tries to take her rote, memorized lines and squeeze it into
Yes,
an
and
answer
she's just taken like,
on a question that's unrelated.
Yeah.
Like she'll ask a question about, childcare, and she's like, "Well, Trump is running for president," and it's like, "What do you? I don't.
what are you
We
what's
know.
going
saying?
on?"
See, and I work like Trump going on there sounds really cool, but I worry it could end up being like the Elon Musk interview you were talking about, where it was just like, oh, he just rambles and rambles.
Yeah.
I think Joe Rogan would really be like one of the great broadcasters of our age if he could actually get Trump to like level down and just be real.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I actually think if anyone can do it, it's going to be Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
Because Joe Rogan has flat out said that he doesn't necessarily endorse any one candidate.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't want to, he doesn't agree with them, whatever. But I think I've seen weird guests on his show before that aren't necessarily the fame of Donald Trump, but I've seen them there and he shuts them down. He will be like, "You're being ridiculous.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
that's not true."
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
The thing-
I wonder
yeah.
if he'll do that. Or the thing is,
I've wondered that too, or if Trump will actually be the one that like
runs
makes him like
Cow?
a little what's the word, like star shocked, shell shocked, like where you meet a big star and you're a little bit
Is
like,
Rogan like a big fan of Trump? Like that would make him.
no, but I would say
I've never heard him
He's probably
say-
more left leaning or right leaning, but he's pretty middle.
he's pretty middle. I would say he's a lot, and I haven't listened to a ton of his stuff, but since he came back to Apple Podcasts, I've been listening to more, and I would say his politics more align with Trump than any other candidate for sure. And he's also been pretty defensive of Trump, like, oh, they said this about Trump, that wasn't true, blah, blah, blah. A lot of it stems from like COVID and all that stuff, because he's pretty like, he was pretty miffed about people lying about him in COVID, because he'd like saying he took horse tranquilizers and stuff like that. And he's like, well, that was a flat out lie.
So you could see him trying to like paint Trump in a better light.
Yeah, but I wouldn't even say paint is the right word. I just think he'd just
like to guide him. I guess.
Yeah. So we'll see how it goes.
The thing I like about what's his name?
Rogan.
Joe Rogan's interviews is they come from him. Like the questions that he asks in the interviews are from Joe Rogan. They're not from a script writer. They're not from a network.
They don't even have. I was just listening to one the other day. It's him and his buddy Jamie.
Yeah.
There's no accountants. There's no anything. That is the Joe Rogan experience. Is two guys. An engineer who records it and Joe Rogan.
And comments
That's their
every once in a
whole
while.
company.
Well, it's a similar thing. If you know Theo Vaughn, he has a pretty big podcast called This Past Weekend or something like that. He's had Donald Trump on, and now he's had JD Vance on. This is the one I'm listening to right now. And same thing there. He asks the stupidest questions sometimes. Like he literally is like getting all pissed off at JD Vance of like, why don't we just send our military over to freaking Mexico and destroy the cartel? Like they are killing Americans every year. Like that's a real question that people like we would ask.
Yeah.
Like a news reporter obviously would never incite or give the idea of sending military to Mexico. You know what I mean? But like a regular person would be like, if fentanyl's killing 70,000 people a year in America, if they were walking over the border with a gun and killing 70,000 people a year, we would be in war right now. Why are we not in war? Why are we not destroying the drug cartels? And JD Vance would answer, but his questions are kind of stupid, but at the same time, probably how more people think of like
they're not pre-wrote and premeditated.
Yeah, they're just like what somebody thinks.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's why Joe Rogan. He is going on there for sure.
Yeah,
on Friday.
Holy crap! I'm going to listen to that. I hope Kamala goes on too, because because I want her to look ridiculous or anything. I want her to be in a long format so we can figure out who this person really is.
Yeah,
agreed.
Because when you listen to an hour and a half of Trump, I know he's annoying.
Yeah,
and he talks too much, but you actually do kind of get a gist of like, oh, that's this guy.
Yeah,
and he is kind of a pompous, big business, like I'm the one in charge kind of attitude.
Yeah.
But I'd rather have that in a leader than someone that's, teleprompter goes out and they don't know what the hell to say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
And I've gone back on this too. I'm like, maybe Kamala is just really bad at public things, but maybe she's really smart.
Well, she might have been a great judge.
Yeah.
Prosecutor.
Right, but she's a judge. Like, she may be a great someone in the judicial branch of the government.
Oh.
But as an executive,
Right.
as the president, she has proven nothing.
Yeah.
She's been given responsibilities as a vice president and done nothing with them. So maybe a great judge, but not a good executive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Donald Trump has been an executive for most of his adult life in business and been very successful. So
Interesting.
So Elon Musk, Trump.
For
alien? You're an alien.
For alien?
You're alien vote.
Casting
your ballot now.
Will Smith.
Oh, okay. Will Smith. And I'm RFK, of course. Which I'm a little bummed that it turns out he slept with like 5 of his employees and sexted some.
RFK did?
Yeah, he's got some scandals going on.
Yeah, like 3.
But he's a Kennedy, so I think you're supposed to.
Yeah. It's a bummer though, because I wouldn't care
like
if he wasn't
if he
wasn't married or his wife was like, I'm fine with it. That would be one thing, but to go to like a messy divorce while you're being president, I don't think that's wise. So
maybe that's why he stepped down.
I am a little bummed about that.
Yeah.
Speaking of Kennedys and sex, Marilyn Monroe is buried right next to Hugh Hefner.
Is she?
Really?
I don't know. I saw it on the internet. It must be true.
Oh, there you go.
It must be.
Can't Photoshop that.
Galactic news. Elon Musk's Starship thing landed in a claw.
No, it's
So
chopsticks.
crazy.
Did you guys see that?
Yeah.
It's called chopsticks.
You didn't see it, Amber?
No.
Oh my gosh.
Show
Now,
me, guys.
I'm gonna preface this for Amber and the listener because the listener's gonna watch this video too.
Yeah, me and the listener at the same
I don't
time.
have internet.
This is exciting, listener.
Rocket is 20 stories high. You can't see that in the video. There's nothing to give it perspective of how big it is, but it's massive, humongous, the biggest flying object ever, whatever.
Ever.
And it's 20 stories high. So when you see this video, you're going to be
Picture
like,
that.
wow.
Yeah, we'll see if I can get internet to actually do it. Okay, we're watching a rocket thing come down and fires exploding out of the bottom. And this is like
20,
surreal to
20
watch.
stories tall, that rocket right there.
So like all this fire's coming out of the side. It looks like it's about to explode. And it is slowing down before it hits the earth.
Oh my gosh.
And it's literally getting caught by this giant crane thing. Isn't that insane?
That is incredible. It really is.
It didn't touch. It came back to Earth
It
without touching
wasn't
the
the
ground.
launch in reverse. That's not what we just
that's
watched.
that's what it looks like.
That is what it looks like.
So those two arms that caught it, they call them chopsticks.
Oh, not the claw, chopsticks.
And the people, I should have turned the sound on, but all the people are just going berserk.
Freaking out.
They're like,
that's so cool.
so excited.
It's better on Phil's phone.
On Jeff's phone.
Or
There
Jeff's
you
phone,
go.
yeah.
That's the sound of the rocket.
That really is crazy.
Pretty amazing.
So when,
That's awesome.
That's why I am as an alien am voting for Elon
For
Musk.
Elon Musk? Okay.
But if you vote for Elon Musk, though, he
you're
endorses
voting for Trump.
So just get over it.
But that's my vote. He can do whatever he wants with my vote.
And Will Smith's way better, Big Willie style.
No one voted for The Rock, huh?
Oh, the rock's not on the thing.
You can write in anyone you want.
Anyway, we've done a lot of time. I was going to get into aliens, but I was reading about ancient alien sightings, and one of these was like crazy to read about.
I just watched a thing about an alien not introduction. They were introduced. The aliens introduced themselves, yes, and then abducted these people.
Hello, I am alien.
In
Come
the
with me.
70s, it was like one of it was like unexplained whatever. In the South, and it was very interesting.
Yeah, we've had a lot of like alien stuff come up lately. And I was reading on Wikipedia, you can find a page called List of Reported UFO Sightings.
Okay, so this has got to be in. Look at the one in the 70s. Sorry.
I will. But
sorry, Phil.
In 1561, which is a long freaking time ago, listen to this. Residents of Nuremberg described an aerial battle followed by the appearance of a large black triangular object and then a crash outside of the city. A broadsheet recorded that the witnesses observed hundreds of spheres, cylinders, and other odd-shaped objects that moved erratically overhead. Like, there's a ton of list of things, but I'm like, what? Residents? Like, what would they have possibly seen that would coincide with that?
So my dad, growing up, I listened to Coast AM with him constantly, with Art Bell and George Norrie. And that kind of sparked this. I watched TV. I've always loved it. And it's not like, oh, I believe in this. This is real. But it's an awesome story.
Yeah.
And I know these stories very well. Like, I can talk about a ton of these things. But the craziest thing about that account you just read is you can read from the 1500s continuously through time to the 1980s and 2000s of a triangular shaped aircraft.
Yeah.
It's so consistent through thousands of years. How is that consistent?
Yeah. See, I've seen that, but I've also seen like a lot of different things, like a sphere, or like if you look up here at the top of the page, it shows a graphic that shows like how many sightings are each. Apparently, the most common is an orb, 27,000 sightings. Triangle has had 19,000. Other, which is like a weird blob, 9,000. So fireball. I actually saw a fireball in like 1996 laying on my trampoline, looking up toward Mount Timpanogos. Was just like a slow, like as slow as like a prop plane. Fireball.
Yeah.
With flames. I could see the flames coming out of it.
Yep.
So I don't know what in the world that was. But I saw an alien. Anyway, diamonds, rectangles, eggs,
Got it.
all those kind of things. There's a lot. But what one were you talking about, Amber? The 50s?
It was in the 70s.
The 70s.
Like 74 or something.
So we've got
Mississippi.
Well, maybe we can just search for that.
Yeah. Pascagoula right there. That was it.
Oh, wait.
I had I have a random one to give you. So I heard this recently, and if you staticize all of the UFO reports, because there's actually a group called MUFON, which is they actually collect data on UFO sightings, and it's a massively overwhelming majority of them happen in the United States.
Oh,
and when I say
really?
massively overwhelming, I mean like 70-80% are reported in the United States, and then others. So
it's got to be like technology tests.
Well, and my conclusion to that was I think there's definitely something out there alien-esque, but I think the majority of UFO sightings are technology. Like, I mean,
US
when you're dumping trillions of dollars a year into military, there's got to be aircraft.
Well,
being
nowadays, but what about?
Well, if you look
back then.
So sorry, Amber. What one were you saying?
Oh, it was Pascagoula. I don't know. I saw it right when.
Pascagoula.
Yeah, there were these two fishermen that were fishing, and
that one
right
there
it
is.
Yep, right there.
Pascagoula.
They were like paralyzed, and then they were taken into something with lights, and they passed out and.
So it was like an abduction story.
It was like an abduction, yeah. And then they went and told the police. And the reason why they're thinking it's credible is because So they each gave their own account, and then the police left them there to just be by themselves, but they put a recording thing in there and thinking that if it was like a false thing that they would be like, oh, we need to make sure that our statement's like a line or whatever. And they just both were talking about how freaked out they were and how crazy of an experience it was.
Yeah. Yeah, bath salts are a hell of a thing. Right, Jeff?
And then they ate each other's faces.
No, but just quick here. So you've heard about recently these USS Theodore Roosevelt incidents, which I'll play here. Are these things where these fighter jets? Maybe I should stop touching things after I push a button.
That's what she said.
These fighter jets. So this is what this plane, their computer or whatever is tracking right now. Is this like, this is actually kind of blurry, but it's kind of an upside down top. And their computer's looking at it, but it's moving in a way that's like crazy. And this pilot went on Joe Rogan and was like, yeah, I could look out the window and see this thing.
Yeah.
And that I've wondered about. I'm like, did you, or were you just looking at this screen, which could have been like malfunctioning or whatever? Because that's what I'd wondered. Let me show you one that looks a little better.
For the listener, this is a.
It's. So here we go. So this is the one where it's over the water, and the computer thing is tracking it. And they're pretty much, it's just moving way too fast. And this is the pilot.
When was this taken?
Just, I think in 2019.
Wow, the technology looks horrible.
I think this thing is traveling at insane speeds.
Yeah, it's not infrared, but heat detection.
It looks pretty primitive, but apparently it's like super advanced because the computer, I think, is tracking that thing automatically.
The middle one's the best.
This one here?
The clouds, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so this is the one where you can see kind of the shape better.
There's a whole fleet of them. What's on the ASA? My God. They're all going against the wind. The wind's 120 knots from the west. Look at that thing, dude.
And then it'll like turn over, doesn't it? Yeah, see how it like
That's not turns. Though, is it? It's not. Well, if there's another thing.
wow. See, and it's like almost stopping. Anyway, they're pretty wild. These were like recently declassified things because these pilots had come out and they're like, hey, we really saw this stuff. It was nuts. And the government apparently came out and said, yeah, they saw it. We don't know what it was. Blah, blah, blah. But look at this. I hadn't heard about this one, but this is called, I think it's called the Middle East incident in 2022. This one was the craziest one I've seen. Watch this. So this
I've never seen this.
This is from a drone. Look at this.
This is what kind of drone?
Like the aerial drone. Yeah, military drone. Look at that. What on earth? And what we're watching, people, is like what appears to be some kind of sphere. And it's flying, but it is not like its propulsion is not natural. If that is the best way to describe that. It looks like a baseball
flying.
Yeah, it does.
Without changing speed.
Yeah.
Like someone threw a baseball, but it's like slowly floating through. You know what it's like? It's like when you play Zelda in the anti-gravity section.
Yeah, no one knows.
Jump.
No one knows that, Phil.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it's like.
Only Mike.
Anyway, isn't that crazy? What is that? What is that?
It looks like a silver ball or like a mylar balloon.
Well, and what sucks too about a lot of these videos that come out now is that AI can generate, or you know, like it can be so easily.
I thought about that too.
Yeah.
And maybe what we're seeing is just like earlier AI stuff. These ones though seem to be pretty wild. Either Russia like hacked. Well, apparently not, because these pilots are claiming that they looked out the window and saw those things. And not just that, but they like dove under the ocean and kept moving at the same speed that they were while they were flying through the air.
There's UFOs and
UAPs.
unidentified aerial phenomenon. No, it's not that. There's a term. It's underwater. It's I can't remember what it is, but it's basically an unidentified craft that's a submersible that goes from the sky to underground.
Yeah.
Or under the water. Very, very common. Even to the point of, you want to talk about ancient sightings, Christopher Columbus, while he was sailing to the Americas, actually has an account in his journal of seeing lights that would go underwater.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so, I mean, back then it's, yeah.
Yeah, and it's interesting to hear the explanations because the one, like the 1500s one I described with all the balls in the air and the big triangle, scientists have said, well, it was probably a sundog, which is a phenomenon where the sun like reflects off of the ice crystals in the atmosphere, and it looks like that.
Yeah, but no.
It's like, well, that doesn't look anything like what they described.
That's clearly in relation to the sun.
By the sun, yeah.
Yeah.
But here's another one too. Look up art, like alien in ancient art.
Aliens in ancient art.
And there's probably a lot of bull crap that's going to be on here, but look at your images or whatever. But it's real artwork from real people. And I'm not talking these cave drawings. I'm talking like that one.
Yeah, I've seen this one before.
But there's a lot of those where, that doesn't really count either. There's some that they have an account where these people.
Where's the UFO in that one?
Right here.
Maybe it's
the
it's
clouds.
The thing above it.
That's the dove descending from heaven
this thing
for the
right
baptism.
Yeah.
Those are clouds.
Those are all dumb.
Yeah.
This is a dumb example.
Okay.
What I'm trying to get at is
that one.
there are some, and you could probably click through some of these cave drawings and stuff too, because there's a guy that looks like he's wearing a helmet.
That one right there, that's in Utah, right?
Which one? This one?
Yep.
Yeah.
That one.
Yeah, it is.
Cave drawings.
Yeah.
The Haunting Rock.
Yep.
Art of Sago Canyon.
Didn't we see one of these, Jake?
Yeah, on the way
look
back.
at
See, look
eyes.
at that one.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's pretty wild.
And the shape of their heads.
On the way back from
antennas
the
and everything.
Mm-hmm. But if you more than cave drawings, if you go down, okay, so like there's that one.
This one?
Yeah, no, the one with the
This thing.
Yes.
Yeah, I've
That's
seen
an
this
actual
before.
painting from I can't remember when, but it's clearly some kind of spacecraft.
Yeah, that a person is in.
Something flying in
and
the
it's not
sky.
like a primitive drawing. It's like a painting.
Yeah. Of someone having
It's
an
art.
exorcism.
Yeah, there've been quite a few, and I know what you're talking about. And there's that Ancient Aliens show that goes into all this stuff.
Yeah. There is some Egyptian
Look at the
stuff
bee
too.
man. Have you guys heard of the bee man creature that's in ancient? Yeah, like bee.
Oh, B-E, like that?
Yeah, bee man. No,
Okay.
like
Oh, there's the Jason Statham movie. He's a
do bee
He's a
man
bee
like petroglyph or ancient something.
Ancient alien.
There.
Like this?
Yes.
9,000-year-old. Yeah, that's pretty wild.
Ooh, that's
Okay,
creepy.
thanks, guys. See,
Yeah.
Legion just
It does look like a bee man. But maybe it's just like their costume. They dressed up like a bee. Oh, here's a bee woman. That's pretty wild. Yeah, some of these are crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I've wondered though if there's all this stuff and there're just no aliens. Like it's never been an alien.
Well, President Musk
Yeah.
has flat out said we've seen no signs of anything. We've been researching this,
President
and I will be
Musk.
the first person to release on X
sure he would.
platform.
Yeah.
If there's any proof
it could
of
just
aliens.
be people on drugs.
Exactly.
Ancient people on drugs too. They just find some psilocybin and have a good time painting on a wall.
I would love to talk about this, but there's too much prep work involved because you have to get facts straight and stuff. But like there are even stories, and I think I actually saw this on Ancient Aliens, like one of their first episodes. But there's areas in India where they have accounts of flying carpets and all that stuff. You know what I mean? And then there's actually a section of desert there that still has a layer much below the surface, which is basically glass. And the only way that they say that could occur is if there was an atomic explosion, like nuclear fusion basically would create that intensive heat to sheet a desert into a glass-like layer, you know.
or lightning.
So that one we were talking about where they're in the ship, it's actually fresco of the crucifixion. It's in Kosovo. I'm trying to see what the painting's called.
So it's in the background, like in the sky.
It's a painting on the structure.
These things are back over here, and maybe that's their like interpretation of an angel.
Because look at that one on the left could be interpreted as like a comet.
Interpreted as an angel or a comet.
But I think it's this though. This is right there, and this is right here. So maybe it is an angel in a comet.
Why would there? Okay, but why would you put a person in there?
Well, it's an angel.
It'd be like any of the like certain mythologies type of.
And guess what I was saying is, where did the concept come that there's a asteroid and there's a person inside of it?
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Like here's the handbag.
Maybe that's
gods.
their interpretation of how angels visit the earth as they come down in a.
And it could have been aliens. I'm just saying maybe that was what they were trying for.
Yeah,
and it's weird too because it's like. It's always about like presentism. It's like injecting our ideas and culture into like
we have
the
no
past.
idea what they're.
Yeah, well, because if you've never seen a comet before, you could just be like, "Oh, it's a deity."
There must be an angel inside.
That's an angel flying through the sky.
But anyway, look back on that time frame though, and like, why would there even the idea of a vehicle be in existence?
Well, the one that I think is crazy is ancient alien helicopter. Have you seen that one?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's a petroglyph or a hieroglyph.
Yeah. So this is in Egypt, and look at this thing right here.
What?
Oh, wow.
That is a helicopter.
Yeah.
And this must be like a hovercraft from Star Wars.
Yep. Looks like P. Diddy's boat.
Yeah.
P. Diddy's
Thanks,
boat.
P. Diddy.
Wow.
So that's pretty wild.
What's crazy is that we won't ever know these stories in this life, you know? Like, do you ever think like, dang.
Yeah, we're just not going to know the answer.
No, yes.
Written in English.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe that's because there isn't an answer. Maybe, like I said, maybe there just aren't aliens.
Or the answer's just like simple, you know?
It was a drunk guy who carved accidentally the propeller on that.
Yeah.
Well, was it going to be not a helicopter?
Perfectly straight line, yeah.
But if it's not aliens and those fighter pilots actually saw something... Yeah. Like, is that a technology that we have or that Russia has or something?
I'm sure.
Because that's crazy.
Sure
yeah.
I'm sure it's us.
That's almost crazier, I think, to think that we have like anti-gravity.
You think that's
technology.
Crazier than aliens have visited and we just don't know it?
I guess.
Okay.
I don't know.
If somebody had anti-gravity, there would be some money made, not just money spent on the technology.
Yeah, but certain people don't care about money.
Maybe, or maybe it's like nuclear bomb technology, where it was like it's so dangerous it has to be like we didn't start profiting off of that. We had to keep it a secret. So maybe that's why it's like if China got a hold of this or Russia or whatever, it'd be real bad. I don't know. But if we have it, that just means they're going to have it too. So I don't know.
Not really. China can't even keep a submarine underwater.
We couldn't keep
and North Korea can't keep a rocket in the sky.
We couldn't keep nuclear technology a secret, even though we put enormous effort into it, and we didn't have any cell phones or text messages.
Oh,
like it'd be impossible today. I think
someone's gonna text out the secrets of
text their wife. Guess what? I was laughing because I was talking to my family about the moon landing. I'm like, I actually have gone back and forth on the moon landing. I used to not think we did, and then I did, and now I'm kind of like I don't again. And my brother-in-law was like, well, I can tell you 100% we landed on the moon because the guys that did it were military guys, and I can say from experience that military guys cannot keep secrets. He'd be like, we're going on a operation in southern Iraq tomorrow, blah, blah, blah. Do not tell anybody. And I'd have like 5 guys texting their girlfriends, we're going to be in this place at this time. I'll meet you up after, blah, blah, blah. Wow. So maybe that's why. But anyway.
Okay.
You heard it here first on American Forks. Aliens, haunted houses, and a spooky election that will hopefully be over soon.
Hopefully.
I hope it is. I hope like we have the election and that's it. I hope we don't have like another like let's
January 6th.
Yeah,
and-
like a bunch of protests and they didn't count this, blah, blah, blah. I don't know. I mean, I guess if it's some serious thing, that's good. But I just hope it's over.
Hope so.
This is bad, but I kind of want Kamala to win because I don't want to hear about Trump anymore.
Yeah, you'll hear a lot. You'll hear 4 years of.
Because if he
how
gets
bad Trump
elected, the
is.
media is going to be like, oh my gosh, he raped 7 people.
Well, you know,
Which he
a campaign of Kamala Harris's where they talk about Trump more than anything else. I think that you won't stop hearing about Trump.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe she'll win, and it's like the
Just
only thing we can
blaming
do is
him.
keep going on the Trump thing.
Yeah, that's what she's
That's all she
campaigning.
has.
They're like, Russia is invading Europe. She's like,
But at least we're not
we're going to
Trump."
get Donald Trump, though.
Yeah,
Maybe.
yeah, because he disappeared for 4 years while Biden was in office. You know,
Yeah.
no one heard anything about it.
I get it. But bless you, Americans. God be with you as you make this epically important decision that may determine whether or not World War III destroys us all.
And happy Halloween.
And happy Halloween.
Ooh.
The end.
The end.
Bye-bye.
Night.
They want to know
I mean, I was waiting for you to say it. Like, you